If you're thinking about moving to San Antonio, Texas, I'm going to be giving you 15 things you need to know about before you get here. This is the stuff all us locals know. Secret stuff like what's going on during Fiesta? What day of the week do we go to Nyosa? Do I use the park and ride to get there? Are you a history buff and want to know what's going on here in the city? Do you love going to the rodeo? Are you here to come get some higher education? Whatever the case may be, I've got plenty of tips and tricks if you're thinking about moving to San Antonio, Texas, so stay tuned right now. What's going on, folks? Welcome to the Living in San Antonio, Texas channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about what it's really like to live in San Antonio. What it's like to eat, sleep, play, breathe, and everything you need to know. The up, down, left, and right. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Make sure y'all hit that like button. It helps anyone else looking for these videos to be able to find this helpful information. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button and tap that notification bell, and you'll get notified anytime we put out a new video on this channel. Now look, we get so many people reaching out who are thinking about making that move, they're determined to make that move, or they've already made that move and they're just looking for a place that best fits their lifestyle. Whatever category you fall under, go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom link down in the description below. Whatever the case may be, however you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back when it comes to living in San Antonio, Texas. So I'm going to give you a little geography lesson about San Antonio, and not about area and location, but more about the dirt underneath our feet. So San Antonio is actually situated in south central Texas, and we actually sit low on the Balcones Escarpment. Now you're probably wondering, why is she even talking about this? Well, the Balcones Escarpment, which is up from Austin and moves down south, is actually, we're on the low side of the hill line. So what does that mean? This Balcones Escarpment is actually a break between the Great Plains of the West and the coastal plains of the East in Texas. So we're on a fault displacement zone. There's just no other way to say it. So what does that mean? Tectonic events. Yes, tectonic events can happen right underneath our feet. Earthquakes. So on the west side of the escarpment, you'll find mostly limestone, really stony soil, and a lot of the main vegetation there, you'll see tons of junipers, live oak, and savanna trees. Now on the east side of the escarpment, you're going to find a lot of clay and really thick fertile valleys. This is often known as sandy loam. You'll see a lot of vegetation growing out there, farmers, and these are based on, broad riverbeds and rolling terrains on the hills. So again, why do we care what's below our feet? Well, a good amount of San Antonio on the northeast side has limestone. The limestone below our feet actually holds water. With all these fissures and cracks, the water goes down through the limestone, filters it, and it holds it like in a giant aquifer or tank, and it holds the water in amplitude. So every time it rains, it feeds this limestone aquifer that actually feeds water to San Antonio. There, I said it. Aha. So now we've got the San Antonio Edwards Aquifer and Recharge Zone. So if you look at the image here that I'm going to attach, this is actually from the aquifer site itself. As you can see, all the red lines are actually faults or fissures all over San Antonio. So throughout the hill country and all these areas, you can see what is feeding into the aquifer in the recharge zone. So all this water is feeding from the hill country into San Antonio. So at the end of the day, the dirt and the soil, everything that happens below our feet is so important when living in San Antonio, because at the end of the day, hey, it's what holds our house up, right? So this is the first thing you need to know when it comes to living in San Antonio, Texas. The Military City, USA is going to be our number 2 thing to know when living in San Antonio, Texas. So the city has earned its nickname based on the fact that it holds the biggest base in Texas called Joint Base San Antonio, also known as JBSA. It actually consists of Randolph Air Force Base, Fort Sam Houston, Lackland Air Force Base, Camp Bullis, and it's home to the DoD's largest medical center and Level 1 Trauma Center, BAMC, also known as Brooks Army Medical Center. Now this brings in a large flux of soldiers and military personnel throughout the year. So San Antonio is also known as one of the best places for military retirees in the United States, and it's ranked number 6 in having great medical care, with having over 15 VA facilities within a 50-mile radius. The affordability and the no state income tax really draw in the retirees. We thank you so much for your service. So number 3 on our list to help you fit in like a local is to know when the city has its major parties and events. We're talking about Fiesta. So this started back in 1891 to celebrate the heroes of the Alamo, and it's stayed a tradition in the Alamo City ever since. It's the city's largest and most popular event in the year, and it normally spirals in about 3 million people in April into downtown San Antonio. Now you'll experience an 11-day festival that includes Fiesta Flambeau Parade, Oyster Bake, El Rey Feo, the coronation of Miss Fiesta San Antonio, and we can't forget Night in Old San Antonio, and of course, every day the carnival is going on. So come down, smash some cascarones, drink some beers, have some fun, try some local cuisines, and listen to all the awesome cultural jams you'll hear celebrated all over the Alamo City. Now, during these events, you should know that most of the business and establishments, they will close down so that the families or the workers can go and experience the city's events. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Fiesta every year? So be ready for school to be out on a Friday and take the city's via park and ride, park your car, and head down to Fiesta. It's going to save you so much time and burden of trying to park your car, driving around for 10, 20, 30 minutes, trying to chase someone down to park your car. And if it's not free, then you're paying in a parking garage anywhere between 10 to 20 bucks, and most of the parking garages are not manned unless you're like in a hotel. Most of these events, you can purchase your tickets in advance and get ready to Fiesta San Antonio. So let's talk about number 4 on our list of things you need to know about living in San Antonio, and that is our city's culture. So San Antonio's roots run deep in our heritage and our culture, and it's celebrated all over the Alamo City. Starting way back with the San Antonio River, over many years, waves and waves of generations of folks have come in, from the early Native American settlers to the Spanish to the European settlers. So all this mix of heritage and culture has really made San Antonio a melting pot. We're talking influences of Mexican, Tejano, German, Polish, Spanish, Czech, and so much more. This is what makes our city so diverse, so great, and really makes our city shine. So one thing many folks may not realize is that San Antonio is a rich city in colonial history, religion, and lots of military presence. So from the days of the Texas Revolution, we have the Alamo, which is also known as the Spanish Mission that sits downtown in San Antonio. It's a shrine, and when you go down there, you can actually see how the final battle of the Alamo in 1836 happened, where Davy Crockett and all the men gave their lives fighting for freedom. So the Alamo is not the only mission here in San Antonio. You can check out the other 4, so there's a total of 5. Just go look online, take the day, and go look at all the history and see all the sites. It's really nice. So if that's not something that jives for you, you can go check out other places like the Whitty Museum. There's a beautiful San Fernando Cathedral downtown. Or you can go zip up in the air and have some lunch or look off the sky deck at the Tower of the Americas. Check out the Governor's Palace, or one of my favorites is the UTSA Institute of Texas Cultures. It's downtown. You can go see the exhibits, see the special collections, and just really experience all the cultural histories and traditions that have really influenced San Antonio throughout the years. One of our city's most prestigious events every single year is my number 6, and that's the annual San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Since 1949, San Antonio has become one of the largest hosts of the Stock Show and Rodeo. Approximately 1.5 million visitors grace the showgrounds every single year, and it takes 6,000 people to volunteer just to get the showgrounds and to get the rodeo up. So one thing folks should know is that the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is actually a large supporter of educational scholarships, and they award these to the students who are actively participating in seeking agricultural careers in college. It's so nice that they do this. So our sons have actually participated in raising steers, and they've won 3rd and 6th place. So it's actually a really great way for them to learn and be around other peers that are doing the same thing. So definitely get out there and support the students, support the rodeo, cheer the kids on. It's great. Other than that, when you're not doing that, you can go do some shopping or try some of the fair food. They've got fried Oreos, funnel cakes, chicken on a stick, have an ice cold beer, listen to some live music, let the kids go play in the petting zoo. There's so many things you can do when you're at the rodeo. Now, one thing you should know is in January, at the end of the month, the Cowboy Breakfast kicks off. And this feeds free breakfast tacos for up to 40,000 people. So if you want to go see what that's all about, rain or shine, most of the times it's cold, get dressed up, go out there, get a free breakfast taco, and kick off the Rodeo San Antonio. Now, when you're not doing that, go ahead and check out the tickets. They generally come out September, October, which is at the end of 2022 this year. Get your tickets for 2023, and then in the beginning of February for about 3.5 weeks, get ready to Rodeo San Antonio. Who doesn't love the great outdoors? So let's kick it off with number 7, and that's the great outdoors. So you can start off with the largest commercial cave system in Texas, and that's Natural Bridge Caverns. Or you can check out Bracken Cave Preserve, and that's usually when you see the largest gathering of Mexican free-tailed bats, and they actually fly up into the early evening sky with swarms up to 20 million. You can usually see this in really early spring, and especially in late fall. Everyone goes out there and sits and watches all the bats fly out of the cave. It's pretty wild. Now, if that's not enough for you, you need to go check out the Japanese tea gardens. You'll find beautiful gardens filled with florals and ponds and koi fish. They have a 60-foot waterfall that comes down off the mountainside, the cliffside, splashing down into the pond. It's such a serene, beautiful place. I love going there. It's just a little piece of sanctity, quiet in the middle of such a bustling, busy city. So you should definitely check that out. Now, if that's not for you, then go take a dip or a jump or a spring into San Antonio Springs Park. It actually happens to be the second oldest pool in the United States, and it has tennis courts and so many things for you to try out. Now, if none of that sounds good for you and you love to ride a bike, then you definitely need to check out the greenway trails that have been paved throughout the city. Grab your bike, park your car, take your water and a towel. There's actually 50 major trailheads that you can ride all over the city. So you can actually have a friend leave a car at one end, you guys go to one end, and then just drive, on your bikes 10 miles, get in your car, go back to your other car. It's pretty awesome if you love to ride your bike. Now, whatever you're looking to do, there's tons here in the Alamo City. Just come find us in the great outdoors of San Antonio. When living in San Antonio, you should know you have such a large opportunity to have some education. It's available all over the Alamo City. This is actually bringing me to our number 8, and that's schools in San Antonio. So no matter what kind of education you might be searching for, San Antonio is going to give you plenty of opportunities to choose from. So I'm going to start off with my number 1, since it's my alumni, class of 2012, and that's going to be UTSA. So UTSA has tons of degree programs in business, arts, music, and science. They have an awesome football team. Now, if that's not good for you, you got Texas A&M University. They were actually recognized as a Purple Heart University in San Antonio. There's plenty of private schools like St. Mary's University and Trinity University. They're known for nursing, law, engineering, and business degrees. Now, if that's not for you, you can attend community college here, such as San Antonio College, St. Philip's, Northwest Vista, Palo Alto. They're great places to get vocationals and 2-year degrees and technical degrees before heading out into the actual workforce. So whatever type of higher education you might be looking for here in the Alamo City, San Antonio has you covered. Food. Let's just kick it right off and talk about all the local foods here in San Antonio, and this is my number 9. So we're going to start off at the historic Pearl, and we're going to go over to some eclectic food dining experiences. One of my favorite places is the Asian American cuisine, Best Quality Daughter. We love to stop in there, have an ice cold Sing beer, and a set of impossible pot stickers. Great, go run in there for 30-45 minutes. You might have more than one, you might have more than 2. Or step in for some delicious French macaroons over at Bakery Lorraine. They have small boxes, large boxes, you can pick whatever you want in there. If you don't like that, you can try some pineapple upside down pancakes at Pancake Joe's, or go try a sandwich from Louie's and Mac's New York Deli. There's so many places to try. Now, I can't forget to mention one of my other favorites, and that's the authentic street tacos at Taquitos West Avenue. I love this place. Go sit down, have some fresh al pastor tacos and a fresh bottled Coke. No matter what you're looking for, you're going to find great local food vibes all over San Antonio. So something most people don't know is that San Antonio has an incredible art and art scene here, and that's bringing me to my number 10. There's so many art connoisseurs all over the world, and they love art collections. Well, you're in a great spot. Come check us out here in San Antonio at the local McNay Museum of Modern Art. It happens to be one of the first modern art museums in Texas. You can see works of performance artists and other artists in residence at Art Space as well. There's so many places to see art here. And of course, we can't forget our San Antonio Museum of Art. I love going to this place. This place houses so many different kinds of exhibits, from Latin American to modern photography, all over the world. One of my favorite exhibits that I went to see when I went there was the Greek, when they showed all the Greek gods and all the history from Greece and Italy. And then they did one for Egypt. I don't know what it is with Egypt, but I have some fascination over Egypt. I think it's amazing. Something that they did over there is just so unexplainable in such a time. Just don't even get me started. So definitely go check out SAMA, is what they call it, San Antonio Museum of Art. And that's wrapping up our number 10 things on what you need to know when living in San Antonio. Stay tuned. Another important city staple is going to be our number 11 here, and that's going to be our pro basketball team, the San Antonio Spurs. So go head down to the AT&T Center with your season tickets and find yourself in the midst of all the fans in the crowd. Feel the energy of their screams chanting, "Go, Spurs, go." So while we're cheering on our 5-time NBA champions, during basketball season, you're going to see fans all over the city decked out in Spurs jerseys. They put these little flags on their window and roll it up, and so it flaps in the wind, the San Antonio Spurs. So there's definitely a lot of camaraderie and a lot of pride in the Spurs here in San Antonio. You'll see on their jersey our past champions like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. So the city really loves their Spurs. They're very proud. So come down to San Antonio and check out our San Antonio Spurs and cheer them on, yelling, "Go, Spurs, go." San Antonio is home to multiple Fortune 500 companies, and they employ many in the Alamo City. The top 4 in San Antonio are going to be Valero, Tesoro, USAA, and iHeartMedia. Now, the largest employers here in San Antonio are going to be JBSA, HEB, USAA, and the Methodist Healthcare System. So if you're searching for a new career, there's an abundance amounts of jobs or careers you can look into here. The unemployment rate is at 3.5%, which is lower than the national average, and you'll find many home bases here in San Antonio. So you're probably not thinking about San Antonio being a pet park friendly city, but I'd have to tell you, you're wrong. So where are you going to take Bingo when he needs to let off some energy and have some fun, am I right? So this is going to bring me to number 13, and that's animal friendly pet parks. So San Antonio has 17 pet-friendly parks all over the Alamo City. You can check it out on sanantonio.gov on the website, and it'll show you where all the dog parks are located, hours of operation, how much area that you can let your dog off the leash. So the number 1 dog park by locals in San Antonio here is actually McAllister Park. Now they have 2.4 acres that allow your dog to run off the leash and go play with other fur babies and run wild and get crazy. So check out this map here and find the best dog park for you and your fur family. So we're beginning to wrap it up, and we're going to give you our number 14, and that is traveling. So even though we're sitting in South Central Texas, San Antonio does have an international airport, and it's going to allow you to jet set to your connecting flight and get you anywhere you want to go in the world. You can also do other things like charter private jet planes, go to the next airport, use companies like JetLinks, Simple Charters, or Mercury Jet. These are charged by the person and by the hour during your travel, so that's some very private, luxurious traveling. Now, if that's not an option for you, like most folks, there's other airlines that you can fly out of, like Southwest Airlines is the number 1 flight most used out of San Antonio. There's actually 1.27 million flights that flew out last year to popular locations like Vegas, Dallas, LA, and Miami. Other hot places were New York and Colorado. Coming in number 2 is American Airlines. So there's tons of flights in and out of the Alamo City all year long, so make sure you check for special flights and travel information and fly in and out of the Alamo City. So if you stuck with me until now, then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with our final number 15 on things you need to know when living in San Antonio, Texas. And every year in March comes March Madness. So this is a fan favorite of the road to the Final Four when it stops in San Antonio in March at the AT&T Center. And UTSA hosts the South Regional of the NCAA March Madness Tournament of men's basketball. So be ready, get your tickets in advance, take the park and ride, the Via, go have some fun, watch the game live, pop into one of the local sport bars and enjoy some tapas and ice cold beverages, and hang out and party in March Madness. I just gave you 15 things you need to know about when living right here in San Antonio, Texas. Keeping it real with you, letting you know what the geography is like, the food, the fun, and all these other things you'll most likely experience if you're making your way out to San Antonio, Texas. Now look, if you've made it this far and you haven't hit that like button, please go ahead and do so. It's going to help everybody else help find these helpful videos. Hit the subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and you'll get notified anytime we put out a new video on this channel. Now, like I said in the very beginning of the video, we get so many people reaching out, whether they're thinking about moving, or they're determined to make that move, or they're already here and they're just trying to find a place that best fits their lifestyle. Whichever you fall under, you can reach out to us, shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back when it comes to living in San Antonio. Be sure to check out other videos here. We're out in the communities, visiting places, trying out foods all over town, visiting up in new communities. So we're not just always sitting here with a cool photo behind our back or anything like that. We are out in the community. So check out more videos here coming up, and we hope to see you out in the Alamo City.